Hey Guru Nation, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. It really means a lot to me. Look, I got asked this question. I think it's important. So they're saying, I recently came across your video where you encouraged aspiring research professionals to seek local sites to gain hands-on experience. I'm currently doing everything I can, learning, applying, networking. I even visited hospitals and facilities in my area that I believed might conduct research. But unfortunately, they all told me they do not count as research facilities. I followed your advice from the video as best I could, but being based in a very remote part of South Africa makes it even more difficult as it appears there is no active research sites near me. The closest site appears to be 404 kilometers away, which, as a typical American, I'm not very good with the metric system, but I know it's longer than 404 miles away, so that's pretty crazy. Will it help to try at another type of lab that's not healthcare related? Would you have any suggestions on how someone in my situation could gain remote or online experience just to get a foot in the door? Is it possible to start remotely, or is the only option to try and relocate? So, the best option is to go in person at a small site near you. Now, I know that advice is very much biased and catered towards people in large metro areas, which are the majority of the viewers. And if you're in one of those areas, you need to do that before you try this strategy. There is still potential. It's just going to be a lot harder. So now what you've got to do, and probably use one of these AIs, or just go on LinkedIn, or both, is map out 100 sites near you and put it in a Google Doc. 100 sites, sorry, not near you because you're not local to any of them. You would map out 100 sites nearest to you, which could mean in completely different cities, different regions. And I would also, considering that you're in South Africa, I would also include American sites on this. So I would have two separate sheets, like one for the South African sites and then one for the American sites. And I'm just thinking out loud here what I would do exactly if I were you. Continue to network and do all that stuff. I would come to all of our Save Our Sites live streams, all the Latinos in clinical research live streams. You don't have to be Latino to join those. It's free and open to everyone. Start networking with people. Get on LinkedIn. Start engaging with the posts. You still need to target sites, but what you need to do is figure out which sites are using eSource. Roughly about half of them are, and still go after the smaller sites. So go after the sites where you know they're probably understaffed, which may not be the big site networks. Like if they have multiple locations, they probably already have an infrastructure in place where they don't need you. But quite honestly, and I wouldn't apply to my site. We can talk after I asked this person for their resume already. You need to approach sites about things like data entry. Hey, I noticed you guys use eSource. Here's what I noticed your site is missing. And you're not going to notice that they're missing data entry, but you could assume that a small site needs help with a small growing site like Yuma Clinical Trials needs help with data entry. A small growing site like Yuma Clinical Trials might need help with their Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. A small site like Yuma Clinical Trials might need help with social media posts, like besides those platforms I mentioned. Like we have a YouTube channel, but maybe repurposing our content for other platforms like the ones I discussed, but also maybe for LinkedIn. And like Yuma Clinical Trials, I'm using it as an example because it's my site. And we actually have those things. There are many sites my size that do not have any of those things. Why? Because they don't have time for it. And so this is where you can come in. Hey, I noticed your Instagram could First of all, you can have an Instagram or you can have a TikTok. Second of all, I think I'm pretty funny. I can do this for you. In exchange, we can talk about pay later. I'm not interested in that right now. I'm interested in getting my foot in the door. In exchange, I would love to be able to learn how to do data entry for you. Spoiler alert, it's not that hard. So site owners would hear that and think, okay, that doesn't take much of my time. I would love to be um, maybe helping out with your investigator site file filings. I would love to keep track of essential document expiration dates like licenses, GCPs, IATAs, CVs, IRB expirations. I would love to just any little things that your staff doesn't have time for, like the mundane stuff. I would love to set up a Monday.com for you. Here's another spoiler alert. It's a great tool. And if most sites are not using it, and if you learn how to use it, and you can do that on YouTube, you can pitch it to site. I can help you guys make your source for Creo or whatever other e-source you use. I can help you guys do a lot. All right. You don't have to necessarily have experience to do some of these things. Now, making source is probably from what I've mentioned, the one thing that does take more experience than anything else, but you could learn it. It really is just a matter of learning the protocol and knowing the details. But that's something you can graduate to. No site's going to give you that off the bat with no experience or no working for them. So this is why I use the lower hanging fruits and the places that sites usually ignore. Social media marketing. I notice you guys don't have a podcast. How about I find and I know you guys are based in Spokane, Washington. How about I find businesses in Spokane that would want to be interviews on a podcast and I interview them and we create a podcast for you and I could take the audio transcript from those podcasts and turn them into articles and put them on your website. Outside of the box thinking, this is what you need to do in a 2025 and beyond world. Now, it's not going to be as easy as going into a site in your local community and saying, "Hey, I'm here. I'm here to shadow. I'm here to intern. I'm here to learn, but I want to get my foot in the door." But honestly, that creativity and that outside of the box thinking, especially if you preface it, you must preface it because site directors, site owners get pitched a lot for services we don't want to pay for and we can't afford. If you preface it with, "I'm an intern, I'm willing to do a lot of things remotely. How about I chase down bud invoices for you? Like I'll keep track of all the dry ice expenses and just scan me the receipts of what you guys spend and I will do the grunt work of sending the invoices." Like literally all kinds of things you can think of. You can reduce a lot of headaches from these small sites. So that's what I would do. Jen Pages, who I did a 1 hour long podcast on my channel with, has suggested similar things. So find my podcast with Jen Pages, and that's it. If there's anything else I missed, it doesn't mean it's not a good idea. Just run it through these lenses of a site owner, and I'm happy to be your site owner representative. And I'll tell you the truth. We don't want to hear that we have to train somebody. We don't want more work and we don't want more liability. But if you come to me with something, just one thing that you can do already, this is why I use the social media marketing because a lot of people can do it and a lot of sites don't have it. But then if you can graduate little by little, you can even show them the roadmap. This is my proposed roadmap. If you find that there's something missing or something else, or if I'm too forward with it, I apologize, but I'm really passionate about this industry and I'm trying to get in. That's what I would do to 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 sites until one of them says yes. If many of them say yes, you might have found a new business. And if you want more tips for um, what other things you can do, watch that podcast I did with Jen Pages on my channel. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Good luck. Keep me posted. Bye bye.